Welcome to episode 16 of Becoming MindStrong, and today we are talking about supplements. And listen, the health and fitness industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and honestly, most of it is from selling you bullshit, right? Most of it is really clever marketing convincing us that the reason we've never seen results is because we are not taking this pill, because we are not drinking this shake, and this is the answer to all our woes of why it's never worked. So today, we are breaking the cycle. We are cutting through the bullshit. We are learning the truth of what supplements are, what they aren't, which ones I recommend, and where you can save your money. Welcome to Becoming MindStrong, the official podcast of MindStrong Fitness. My name is Rachel. I'm the owner and head coach of MindStrong Fitness, and I am here to teach you truth. No more bullshit, no more point systems, no more shakes, no more wraps. This is math and science, and we're going to learn how to do it together. Ready? Let's rock and roll. So we're going to start our conversation about supplements off with a definition. To supplement something means to add to, right? You supplement, you add to. So for the purposes of this conversation, the supplements, what they are adding to is our diet. And I don't mean diet as in a restrictive diet sense. I mean diet as in the food you eat in a day. So anytime we're talking about these supplements, what they are designed to do is to add to what you are or aren't getting through the foods you're eating each day, through your diet. Now, you can walk into any health food store and find a plethora of different supplements. And every one of those supplements is going to claim that the reason you haven't experienced the results you're looking for, whether those results are big bulging biceps or losing fat, the reason you haven't hit those goals is because you have not taken this pill or you have not drank this shake. If there's one thing you take away from this conversation, let it be this. Supplements are never, ever, ever the answer. Supplements are like fine-tuning the details. They are not ever the difference between seeing results or not. When you see someone with the body of your dreams, I don't care what advertisement they're being paid to be in, they did not get there because they took a pill or they drank a shake. They got there because they got in a caloric deficit and they stayed there until they lost the fat, or they got in a surplus and they built the muscle they wanted, and then they got in deficit and shed the fat. All the stuff that we have talked about how this works according to math and science, that is the answer. The answer is never that you need to be taking a certain supplement. That's step one. If that's the only thing you take away from this episode, let it be that, because that is the most important part by far. Now, the most popular supplement I get asked about, and we're going to talk about a few of them on here, but the big idea that you're going to hear me keep coming back to is that you have to know your goals. Right? My favorite analogy, before I get into the supplement I get asked most about, my favorite analogy is this. If you came up to me and said, I want to buy this house, should I get a second job? My answer to you is, I have so many more questions before I can answer that, right? How much does the house cost? How much are you making each month? How much are you spending each month? I need a lot more details before I can tell you if you need a second job to afford a house. That is a very open-ended question. It's very personal to your situation. So the supplement I get asked the most about is protein powder. Most people ask, do I need protein powder? And the answer is, I don't know how much protein you need to be eating without working up your macros. I have more questions before I can tell you how much protein you need. Once we know how much protein you need, then I need to know how much protein you're eating. This is why we always start by tracking your food. Because maybe you're already eating enough protein in a day, in which case, save your cash. You don't need protein powder. The only time you would need protein powder is to do exactly what its name says, to supplement your diet. If we track your food for a week and we see that on a consistent basis you are not eating enough protein, then you get a good protein powder and you supplement, you add to your diet with more protein. Now, protein powder is the only supplement that I will blanket statement say most people can use. As a general rule, and this is not everyone, but I would say for every 100 clients I see, 99 are not eating enough protein. So in which case, protein powder is a really good way to get in a good amount of protein without a lot of carbs and fat. We will do a whole separate podcast on what makes good protein powder, what makes good bars, because there is a ton of bullshit on the market packaged with a pretty pink bow when really they're nothing more than a glorified candy bar, but that's a different conversation. But the good thing about protein powders is a good one will give you a lot of protein without a lot of carbs and fat, so it's a great way to supplement your protein intake. Now, other popular ones are things like creatine. We see these bodybuilders on social media, they say you have to take creatine. But we don't know what creatine is, so we just spend money every month taking creatine with no idea why. And then we start to do some research and we see that creatine is actually found in the food we're eating, especially meat. So unless you're a vegetarian or a vegan, you're probably getting enough creatine already and you're just wasting your money on it. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, then you might want to, wait for it, supplement your diet with creatine because there's probably not enough of it in the food you're eating. For me personally, I have experimented with creatine when I used to eat meat. I didn't see any difference whether I was taking it or not, so I stopped. I saved my cash. Since I've been doing my vegan experiment, I started off not using it, and now I've been experimenting with using it, and I feel like I see enough results that I keep using it. And when I say seeing results, this goes back to how we opened this podcast. It is not like my workouts weren't working and suddenly I have muscle. It is not about that at all. It's about my recovery time. It's about the fact that I feel a little more defined, a little tighter. And honestly, I like to experiment with this stuff because right now I feel like I'm seeing results, but because it's so subtle, I'll probably go off it for a few weeks and see if there's any difference. It comes down to how your body responds, but most of all, it comes down to your diet, right? Right now, as I'm doing this vegan thing, I'm probably not getting enough creatine from the food I eat since it's mostly found in meat, so I'm supplementing. And then purely out of curiosity, I'll go off it to see if it's really worth spending the money. Now, creatine tends to be the least expensive supplement. I think I paid $20 for a massive tub that's lasted me like 2 months at this point. So if you want to experiment, do it. But know that if you're a meat eater especially, you probably don't need it. Another popular one is BCAAs. This one cracks me up because I see people on social media saying, I'm drinking my BCAAs and I'm not losing weight. And the answer is that's not what they do. That's not, and I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the genius marketing of the health and fitness industry that they have convinced us drink our BCAAs and you'll lose weight. No, that's like me giving you a shovel and saying here, and then you say I can't fly and I'm holding the shovel. What? That's not the point of the shovel. That was a terrible analogy, but you see where I'm going. BCAA stands for branch chain amino acids. Branch chain amino acids, there's many different forms of them, but they are found in the food we eat. If you are eating it comes down to your diet. If you are eating a diet with a variety of foods, whole foods especially, not a lot of processed food, if you're eating vegetables and fruits and whole grains and complex carbs, there is a very strong chance that you don't need BCAAs. That stuff exists in the food that you're eating. It is a natural product, and there's no reason to supplement as long as you have a well-rounded diet. Again, BCAAs kind of fall under the creatine category. They're not that expensive, but they add up. If you're drinking a scoop of them every day, it can get expensive. I've tried it when I first started working out. I fell under the hype, just like everyone else. I believed that I had to drink BCAAs during my workout. Couldn't tell you why. It's just what everyone did, so I did it. And it did absolutely nothing for me. And when I stopped, I was super nervous about stopping because what if I lose my gains? And absolutely nothing happened because my diet had enough amino acids in it that I didn't need to supplement. As long as you are eating your fruits and vegetables, as long as you are getting a whole, nutritious, well-rounded diet, you don't need that stuff. Now, we're not going to get into every supplement here. That would be a very long, complicated conversation. But the point I want to emphasize is this. As you hear me say endlessly, education equals empowerment. It is not about blindly following what someone says just because Joe Schmo on social media is being paid by his company, right? Let's just pause here and talk about this. When you see these people on social media that you want to look like, and they say, oh man, I drink these greens every morning. Oh man, I drink these amino acids every workout. They are most likely sponsored by that company, meaning they're either getting paid or they're getting free product or both based off how much of that they sell. And that's not a bad thing. I do it too. I'm an affiliate for 2 different protein powders, a whey protein and a vegan protein. And the only reason I represent them is because I love them, because I genuinely love their product. But I will never sit here and tell you I have the muscle I have because I drink this protein powder. Absolutely not. My answer is I don't eat enough protein from my whole foods like most people don't, so I supplement. And because I'm going to supplement, this is my favorite protein powder. And yes, I get I think it's 10 or 15% commission every time you buy that protein powder. So it works out. It's a win-win for everyone. That's the beauty of affiliate marketing. But the problem is most people are not going on their social media saying, hey guys, you don't actually need this product, but if you buy it, it's a win-win for the company and for, like, no one's saying all that. So all you're seeing is this person that you want to look like saying, I drink X, Y, and Z every day, and thinking that's why they look the way they look, that you're never going to hit those results unless you drink X, Y, and Z. And it is blatantly not true. Side note to this conversation, there are so many supplement companies out there. Again, we're going to do a whole podcast on this, but they are selling crap with a pretty pink bow. And then that's not the end of it. We've already mentioned that, but what we haven't mentioned is that then they are approaching people on social media to be their brand ambassadors, to be their affiliate marketers. And because the kickback is good for that person, they're pushing this mediocre product. And this is something I learned very early on. When I started having a social media presence, I would get approached constantly by supplement companies saying, hey, do you want to rep us? We'll give you a 15% kickback every time you sell our product. And then I'd go on there, and it was appealing, right? I was new to social media. It sounds cool to be able to get your followers a discount to say you're associated with this company. But then I'd go on their website, and their product was complete crap, and it was overpriced, and it didn't do what it, if it was a protein powder, it didn't have enough protein in it. It had too many grams of carbs and fat, which again, we'll do a whole separate podcast on, but it was garbage. And the only reason I would be an affiliate for them is because I didn't have my morals in check and I was going to push this product and other people for a kickback, which you guys know me well enough to do that I never would do. So I held off until I found the right companies for me. But a lot of people on social media are doing this. They're not representing this brand because they believe in it. There are plenty that are doing the right thing, that are only representing brands that they believe in. But there are plenty that aren't. They're just taking whatever offer comes their way. And then again, you're seeing this is what they drink, and you are blindly following them because you think that's how they're seeing their results. They might not even take that product, right? And if they do, it's only because they're getting it for free or highly discounted. They're only repping it because they're getting that kickback. So again, once we understand how this works, we can make informed choices. It always blows my mind when people say, I can't afford to get coaching. I can't afford to invest in getting educated on how this works. And then they turn around, they're spending literally $130 a month on a tub of powder, on these shakes that are complete garbage. When we do a whole podcast on this episode, we're going to talk in depth about these shake systems. I could not believe. I remember this specific day I was doing a Facebook post about these shakes, and I went and I did research. I looked them up. I looked up their nutrition labels. I looked up their costs. I did tons of market research to compare. These tubs are $130 a month, and they are a far inferior product to a $20 tub on Amazon of real protein powder. And I was both wildly impressed by their marketing and deeply, deeply hurt by their willingness to take advantage of people who just don't know any better. But then I hear constantly from people, well, I want to learn how to do this, but I can't afford to invest in myself. And my answer is, it is all that money you're wasting on this complete crap. Take a month off and invest in yourself. And in the long run, you are going to save thousands. And I don't say that in an exaggerating way. You are going to save thousands and thousands of dollars by learning how this actually works. So we need to understand first and foremost, the answer is not supplements. Supplements are there to do exactly what their name says, to add to supplement your diet. We don't know if you need them or not if we don't know what you're currently eating, right? I don't know if you need protein until you track your food for a week, see how much protein you are or aren't eating, and then figure out what your goals are. I don't know if you need creatine or not unless you tell me a little bit about how you tend to eat in a day. Are you a vegan? Are you a vegetarian? Are you a carnivore? Right? I don't know if you need BCAAs unless you're eating a really processed diet without a lot of whole foods in there. But when we just start buying product after product because Joe Schmo on social media says so, we are doing the blind follow. We are wasting our money. And most importantly, we're wasting our time, right? You could be spending this time taking 8 weeks to learn the process, to get educated. You could be saving that cash that you're going to spend over months and months and months on complete garbage by investing once in yourself. It comes down to getting educated. And once you get educated, you are no longer being duped by a very, very tricky market that knows how to sell. And instead, you're making choices aligned for your life and, most importantly, for your goals. If you're ready to start taking complete control of your nutrition, grab my free macro cheat sheet at bit.ly.com/macro cheat sheet. bit.ly.com/macro cheat sheet.